Alright, we're back where we left off from part 1 of this video. We made our function. These are our passed. We passed these values from we're going to pass them from this sub above. And this right here, this is the same as doing this. So we could do that. It's a declared variable for the function. It's the same as doing this. But this one just tells the function that the variable is passed from somewhere else. So we're going to pass it from this sub, and we're just going to send it on down over here. By val means we make an actual copy of it, and by ref means we can change it. So when we come into this function, width is 0, but down here we could put width something and catch it back up here again. It'll have a value. So what are we going to do in this function? We're just going to change the color. So we'll change the color of and let's set our by ref values just for fun. So we'll go width equals S, dot on your keyboard, opens up the context menu, and we'll go size width. And then we'll go H equals S dot size height. And remember, we could do the same thing in a function. Get size, width, height. And that's the same thing. It's getting these values by ref, and it's doing that inside this function, just like we were doing it here in our function. We're just comment that out with a little apostrophe. We're not going to use it. We're going to use these. Okay, let's go back, and we got to finish. Let's make a new shape range. We'll go SR2 as shape range. And what we're going to do here, if s.sizeWidth is greater than 2, what are we going to do? We're going to add it to this new shape range. Okay? And we can't add to a shape range that hasn't been set. This one has been set, so now we can do something with it. We need to set this one. How do we set it? We can set SR2 equal Control J, new shape range. What's even better, remember that new keyword we talked about earlier? Dim SR2 as new. We just set this shape range. Now we can straight up add to it. Just like that. It's set and ready to roll. So we'll go SR2 and dot on the keyboard. One of the methods, see this symbol here? That means method. That we can do to a shape range is we can add stuff to it. So we'll click add. And what are we going to add? We're going to add this shape. Remember? But we forgot to set it. It's a shape and we have to set a reference to it. So we're going to set do it to it equal S. So we had that S that was passed. We did some stuff with it, you know. And then we set do it to it equal S. So now do it to it is a reference to S. And why do we do that? Because right here we're returning a shape with this function. The function do it to it becomes a shape. So up here we're going to add, hit Control J on our keyboard, and we're going to put do it to it. We're adding do it to a shape range. Do you understand that? And since we have to, these are not optional, we have to include them. What are we going to do? We're going to use our parentheses. Why? Because we are returning a shape. Do it to it will, this name here becomes a shape. We set do it to it to equal S. This name becomes a shape. We have to put our values in. So we're going to pass S, which is going to get colored, and we put these in just for fun. I could come along here and use width and height if I want. It'll have a value. Okay. And let's run this and see what happens. So I'm just going to move this over to the side. I'm going to shrink this down so we can see it in action. Okay, and we'll just run it. Variable not defined. Which one are we missing here? We forgot to define our width and height values in this function. So we'll go width as double, and remember, that's the shorthand. Height, double. Let's try it again. There we go. We just colored every shape that is greater than 2 inches. And let's step through it and watch it work. F8 on your keyboard, step into. Same as hitting the play button, but we're just one step at a time. We just set the SR. We'll open up our locals window. As soon as we hit F8 to pass this, watch this. SR now has something. And you can take a look down here in your locals window, and you can see all the properties that SR is. You can see its count. It has 16 shapes. So we know here it's going to be 16. Look how I hover the mouse. SR count is 16. What is I? Hover the mouse over I. I is 0 because we haven't started the loop yet. Okay, let's F8. What is I now? I is 1. So as we go through this shape, S is nothing down here in our locals window. Until I pass it, S becomes a reference to this shape. So F8, S became something. If we go down here, S.sizeHeight, all the values for S are shown in the locals window. The locals window is excellent when you're debugging. And that's what we're doing now. We're debugging. We're going through this slow. S.sizeWidth, you can see if I hover my mouse, it shows it. We're going to add SR2. Add to our SR2 shape range. And how do we do that? It's going to run this function. Do it to it is nothing. We haven't set it yet. Because we said do it to it is going to be a shape. We're going to have to set it eventually in this function. Set do it to it equal S. Do it to it is now a shape. And we just added it to our SR2 shape range. Okay, and we colored one shape. Let's hold F8. Watch it go fast. Look at that. We can put a breakpoint and it'll run. See that? Message box finished. We'll put our breakpoint there and run it. And it ran and stopped there. I could hit F8. Oops, not 8. F8. Message box, because it just passed it, it ran that. What do we want to do here with our SR2? We have an SR2. SR2 has 5 shapes in it. There were 5 shapes that were added to SR2. Let's go SR2.createSelection. Let's kill this because we didn't need it. Let's bring this back up here and we'll put F8. We just ran that. SR2.create. So not only did we color our shapes, we just selected all the shapes that were bigger than 2 inches. Okay. And we just finished that off. So what did we learn here? We got I as a long variable, not a decimal. Set SR. We can also set it here with the new keyword. It's initialized and ready to go. That way if you're going to use add, this is a good way to do it with the new keyword right in the title. That way you can just start adding to it. You don't have to set it. Our new type of loop here, we got for I equals 1 to SR count, next I. That's a different type of loop. As we go through the loop, we set S. Each time we go through the loop, S becomes something different. We set S equal SR shapes I, or we can just do I. We're referencing the shapes in the shape range, in this shape range. And we have our condition. We have our function. This actually becomes a shape, which we add. Why does it become a shape? Because of this. Do it to it will be a shape. These are the same as doing this, except these are passed. Set do it to it equal S. It gets added. SR2 create selection. That's it.